Welcome, guys, to the Big Brother Sunday night episode recap. I'm Kevin. This is CJ, and today we have Sheldon. What's going on, fellas?
Hello. Nice to see everybody.
How's it going?
Nice to be seen. Guys, we are in a new day in the BB house. We had Taylor spared the last time we chatted. Yep. And we had the first part of the HOH competition, which I'm pretty sure was the backstage competition because the competition was called Bye Bye Backstage, which means it was probably the competition they competed in.
Also, both walls, both the blue and pink, said backstage on it. So,
yeah,
I don't think there was time to change the set.
I don't think so either. They decided that that's what they were going to go with. I did love the fact that Taylor, beasted Alyssa and would have probably done the same to Paloma. So Taylor was going to be staying regardless.
Oh, yeah. Taylor said I would have bodied him once I saw what the challenge was.
Yeah.
Taylor is she an athlete or something?
She looks like it.
I was shocked. Like she's obviously competitive based on her background, but she destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, she's on that exercise bike every day. Just getting it, talking to herself.
Just put in the work.
I should take after her.
We should all take after her. There's no reason we shouldn't. She's out there. She was the way she bodied that competition. It was crazy. But we got through the first part. 7 people made it through, and then tonight.
Sorry, I'm going to completely usurp this. Can we just talk about the fact that I'm not on Twitter? I'm not on anything. Has anybody heard a word from Paloma?
No.
Nah.
Paloma's MIA.
She went 0 dark 30.
She's like in the hospital, I assume, or she is like completely off the I think something's up, yeah?
I think she's definitely just off the internet. I don't know that she's in a hospital, but I know for sure that someone said, hey, don't go on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not a mental health professional or anything, but she was in there doing villain things, and then she appeared to have a manic episode. So who knows if she actually is in a hospital being checked on, looking after her well-being, or if she came out and someone was just like, you should probably stay off socials for a while.
Yeah, just stay off the socials.
Look, I will say, from the edit, not watching the stuff on the feeds, not watching anything on Twitter, she was a great character.
Yeah.
She was kind of fun. And then it went downhill.
Well, it's funny because if you're an episodes only kind of person, you're like, why is Paloma getting all this hate? But if you are a person on Twitter, you're also a person on the feeds. So that's why those people are one and the same, right? So
you say you're not on anything. The way that I consume the show is I watch every episode. I'm on the feeds when I work from home instead of watching daytime TV because there's just not a lot of options. I'd rather watch what they're doing. And then I'm on Twitter.
You say, hold on, you choose Big Brother feeds over The View? It's Whoopi Goldberg.
I know, it's shocking.
I can't say no to Whoopi.
But I like to spend time with my friends who are locked up for the summer.
I choose Whoopi.
You choose the feeds over Whoopi?
I choose Whoopi. Do you know who she is? She's amazing.
I'm not going to lie. I have the feeds on right now. So if anything crazy happens, you'll be the first to hear it.
The thing that's funny is that I usually have the feeds on my second monitor at work. First 2 monitors are doing work, and then the third monitor on the left-hand side has the feeds going. And normally I check it out. Make sure I check it out Monday afternoon, see if anything's popping off after the veto ceremony. I like to keep Twitter updated, and if anything is breaking out, like the year in BB20 when Bailey had the house meeting and had the huge fight. I saw on Twitter it was happening, so I jumped on the feeds to make sure I watched it. Last year, when the Royal Flush were having that conversation with Christian about who to put up and to get them to not put up, and when Sarah Beth wanted them to put up Hannah, I believe, and Xavier and Tiffany and the rest of the cookout were working to not have Hannah go up and have Whitney go up instead. I turned on the feeds because that's how I know what's going on to make sure I don't have to be watching it 24/7. So that's usually how I consume the feeds myself.
So I've been at home for the last 4 days by myself in COVID quarantine, and I've come to one crazy hot take that nobody's gonna like.
What?
I think this is the last season of Big Brother.
That's interesting. Why do you think that this is the last season of Big Brother?
It feels like it's been done. It feels like it doesn't feel new anymore. It feels stale, and unless they could fundamentally, I think, change the game, it feels, I don't know, it just feels old. It's time, it needs something else. It feels like it's over. I don't feel like I'm watching something great anymore. I feel like I'm watching another season of Big Brother, and it's only so much time that they could put another season.
So are you?
So I obviously have zero evidence for this. I just get the sense that it's done.
So when you look at 22, though, did you feel like you're watching something grand and amazing?
Well, I think that might be part of it. Well, I don't think I was watching something grand for Big Brother. I think I was watching something grand for Black people.
No, not 23, not 23, not the Cookout. 22 All Stars with Cody and
no, that's,
wasn't it like this same thing warmed over? I feel like 21 was the exact same way.
But that's but how many of these episodes do you have? Like, how many of these seasons can we have where like it's not exciting? Like how much?
You can have as many as CBS prints a check for. That's exactly.
Right. But even like I feel like it's Julie's over. Like it just feels like it needs. I don't know if it's a new host, it's a new format, it's a new.
You want something different. You just want something different.
It feels stale to me.
So here's the thing, Sheldon. Here's the only thing the reason I rail back at this. Here in the States, yesterday CBS topped the ratings for most watched on Sunday, just like it did on Thursday, and just like it did on Wednesday.
How many people watch Big Brother?
Let's see here. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up.
And again, this is just for me almost like a quality control sort of a thing, and just the overall sense. Because if I compare it to even Survivor, honestly, like it's not close. Like we're not there. If I compare it to BB Can, we're not there. It's just not fun for me.
And having watched,
I think part of the problem is that they have to react in real time, and it's kind of hard to set a narrative and tell the story when you don't know where the story is going.
But that's how they've always had to do it.
Like that, yeah. Like you're like Kevin's right, but I feel like they might be a little bit more conservative too, and I don't mean that just like from a right-wing conservative perspective. Right. I mean they're a little like the truth is they had a really great opportunity over the first week to show what was actually going on in the house, and for some reason they were scared. And I fundamentally don't understand what they're scared of. Like, you want to do a reality show? Go do a fucking reality show.
That's America. It's America.
Yep.
It had nothing to do with anything else. I mean, yesterday, 3.3 million people still tuned in, right? 3.3 million tuned in. In order to watch
summer.
Yeah, that's good for summer. It topped the ratings yesterday for a Sunday. And the second biggest draw, because it easily led the demo Sunday, it says, and then a rerun of 60 Minutes an hour later had 5.6 million people tune in.
So you're trying to tell me that a rerun of 60 Minutes?
Yeah.
Well, that's
3.3 in its time slot. It won the night.
But folks, I'm sorry, a rerun of 60 Minutes beat a brand
you have a different audience tuning in. Like I didn't watch 60 Minutes. CJ, did you watch 60 Minutes?
Nah, I never watched 60 Minutes.
We should
so like you should have learned a thing or two.
We would have been smarter today, maybe.
Wow.
But it's all about winning your demographic. It's all about
you know why I didn't watch 60 Minutes? Because after the episode came on, I went and watched the feeds because they got an alcohol delivery last night.
So they had fun. Okay, I didn't mean to completely derail this. It just feels stale to me, and I don't know why.
Because it is. It's the same. It's the same thing warmed over, and it's if that's what you're not here for, then I understand.
Yeah.
But I understand that it's the same thing every year to year. Like last
they-
year was dynamic. Like that's what it really is for you, Sheldon. Last year was dynamic. It was different. And
Last year was it was
last
different not only because the cookout stuck together as an alliance, which you don't see very often, but it was very clean gameplay. Like nobody did anything to personally attack someone else. It was just everyone's going to get a buddy, and at a point you're going to cut your buddy, and it is what it is, and that's how we're going to.
It was not as malicious.
And as a fan, I'll also say it had some of the best strategy from my friend Tiffany. I wish you were my friend. That like maybe we've ever seen. Like, right. And to me, that's what I like. I like seeing strategy. I don't care about the drama. I don't care. I want to see solid, thoughtful, brilliant, smart moves. That's what I want. And until I get that, I get bored. It's why I loved BB Cannon the last season, because you saw round after round Kevin doing these small little things that you're like, wow, this is working. Look at what he's doing. Like, I don't see anybody where I'm like, holy crap, what are they doing? It all just looks like a big ass mess. Maybe Michael, but other than that, it looks like a mess.
So I don't blame you. Like CJ, you haven't watched BB Can. Last year was the first year I've ever watched Big Brother Canada, and BB Can 10 was very good. It was very good gameplay. It was strong gameplay. It was chaotic, but it was intentionally chaotic. The winner created chaos intentionally, so that way he could live and he could move within the chaos. That was his plan. He was a big fan. He's on Twitter. He's in the Twitter sphere. But that was the intention, right? In this season, you just have like pettiness.
Well, it's not only the pettiness, but also the backstage twist, because nobody knew what it entailed. Everyone was very scared to commit to alliances. So now you see this week, which you should see or on Wednesday's episode, is the alliances are starting to get set now because the twist is over. So now it's like, okay, well, now we know who's going to be here, because like realistically, there's no reason to make an alliance with Brittany, Paloma, and Alyssa week 1 when you know they can't vote. So, like, you got to kind of table who you want to work with until you see who's still there after the end of the first week. Because the fact that they ostracized Taylor and then she ends up staying, like, do you just leave her in the house as a floater? Do you try to bring her in? Like, a lot of people aren't really playing yet.
Well, CJ, you bring up a good point, because that leads us right into the episode. Taylor, at the very beginning of the episode, Taylor is safe. We find out that Taylor is safe. We find out that she finds it out, but she's more jazzed about the fact that she did so well in the HOH comp so far. She figures that she's the house target, and she knows that the HOH missed, if you will, on getting her out. But she's excited to still be there. Daniel, on the other hand, is just disappointed. He lost his number one, his little sister, Paloma. The 3 people he put on the block are still in the house.
Has that ever happened before, that you put 3 people on the block and they all stay?
Yeah, sort of. Cody, and BB and Big Brother 19. Cody had to put up like 5 people. It was a situation. Cody put up someone she self-evicted. They had him put up somebody else. So then there was 2 new people. Someone won the veto, so they took themselves down. So he had to put up another person. While at the same time, Paul came in with their friendship bracelets and kept 8 people safe. So he only had like 7 people to choose from. So he nominated everybody essentially, which made him like persona non grata. That was
ridiculous.
It was a lot. And but CBS made up for it by putting them on The Amazing Race with Jess, and then they won $1 million, and now they have 3 kids. Congratulations to them. They just had another baby over the weekend.
I have to say, it was so nice to see Taylor like smile, because after a week of hell, not only was she able to like get back, like not leave, but she was able to destroy that competition and prove to herself that she actually does deserve to be there, and she's not worthless. And she's I think she needed that for herself more than anything else. And I was just so happy to see it, because she is smart. She is a strong. There are times in the diary room where she has some really, really strong reads. There's also times in the diary room where she doesn't. That sometimes scares me. But she is not. She is not what Paloma and the rest of the girls. I don't know why Taylor's not a girl. She looks like a girl to me, but fine. But like they there's no other word, and I'll use it. I know Kylie doesn't like to use it, but they were bullying her. And
that's exactly what was happening.
She was bullying, and they made her feel like crap. And I was just so happy for Taylor because, listen, there are things that she does that do annoy me a little bit. The little pageanty, model-y things that, like, I kind of roll my eyes out. But that's her. That's the world that she lives in. And to disrespect a person just for being her is not fair. It's just wrong.
You know, it's funny because the girls immediately went after her because she was a pageant girl. And I do wonder if Taylor would have told them that she won Miss Congeniality, if that would have changed their opinion on her. Because they were just like, oh, she's a pageant queen, so, you know, obviously she's a bitch. But you don't actually know her. So I wonder if she said, hey, I'm a pageant queen, I won Miss Congeniality, if maybe they would have been nice to her knowing that she's nice.
But also, isn't step 2 go have a conversation to see if she is a bitch? Like go have a conversation. Like how do they just make a decision right away and not go to that next step of getting to know? She is not a mean person. Look, like she's sweet.
But
she's prettier than them.
Let's be honest, though. It was none of that, right? It was neither one of the things you guys are saying. Like, so Miss Congeniality doesn't matter. It was Paloma deciding that she was terrible.
Yep.
And then all of them just latching on to Paloma. Because even as you see, as the feeds bear out and the rest of the week bore out last week, most of them were like, I don't personally have a problem with Taylor, but Paloma does. And since she's lying on Paloma or whatever about Paloma, she's on the outs for me. When in reality, they didn't actually have any issues with her. And as she moved through the house, they were like, we in fact like this woman a little bit.
Yep.
They still talk a lot of crap about her, and they still do to this day. But it was a group decision after Paloma made the call first. So even if she's like, I miss Congeniality, Paloma's like, I don't care about that. That doesn't matter to her.
I think my favorite tweet that I saw over the weekend is that someone's going to start calling Taylor rent-free because that's how she lives in everybody's mind.
Because she's just living there.
Yep.
She's taking up space. But the Alliance, missing Paloma, they felt like they needed to bring someone else in. And they decided that Nicole was the right person to bring into their Alliance to help like round them out and still give them a 6. Because they had a Paloma-sized hole missing. What do you guys think about them bringing in Nicole?
I good move for them. Like, I don't know if I was Nicole, I wouldn't say, why am I last? Right? Yeah, fine, bring in Nicole. Why not?
But here's the thing, is you never say, why am I last? You just note it that like, oh, they had this and they're bringing me in late, which means when it's time to cut, I'm the first one to go. So you just stay in there, you gather intel.
Yep.
And then when the time is right, you can cut them before they cut you.
Yep.
Is there a lot more gameplay in Alyssa than maybe I thought initially?
So I was going to say that. So next up, Alyssa has a conversation with Taylor. That's like, hey, remember, I was backstage. I wasn't really coming for you. I know P was like my girl, but she's not here. We're not coming for you. That sounds good, right? And then Taylor's like, yeah, that's cool with me. I'm cool with that. I want to go after these dudes. I want to go after the guys. I thought that was some good gameplay by Alyssa. I thought that was smart.
And I think down early. But I also think it's funny because Taylor actually bought it, and Alyssa's like, yeah, I'm still going to get rid of you. I just don't want you to think that I'm trying to get rid of you. Versus Taylor's like, I got a friend in the house.
Well, Taylor has nobody, remember? So she's like, this person's at least trying to work with me a little bit. Maybe this is going to work. At the same time, we got Pooch. We got Pooch's puppy. Puppy Pooch is over there trying to still let everybody know that all his dogs, you need to make sure all his dogs are still down to run as a pack and take out Taylor if that's what he can get done. Oh, poor Pooch.
Oh, Pooch. This dude, he tried to act in his intro video like he wasn't exactly who he thought he was going to be.
Yep.
And
But
he's
he
just
was.
a Jersey Shore bro.
Yep.
Poor Pooch.
That's literally it. He's a Jersey Shore pup, right? We got to make sure that we keep the dog puns going because he's a nice little puppy. You know what I'm saying?
Is he a threat or is he not a threat? Because I kept on hearing in last night's episode from, I think it was from Taylor as well as Alyssa. Oh, he's a threat. Oh, I don't see him as a threat. Like, even compared to some of the other big guys with muscles, I'm not that scared of him either. I don't know what he is. Like, why target him ever?
Because Pooch had like the boys following him, right? The boys want to bro down. And so like threats are not just physical or mental. If you're able to get people on your side, then that makes you a threat. Taylor is way less of a threat than they're playing her out to be because she is not, no one's trying to work with her. She is very physical. She's very social, but she's not able to invigorate people and get them to follow her. And so since that's not the case, and she's less of a threat because she doesn't have numbers, young Pucciarelli got his pack running behind him, and the pack of Monty and Joe and Turner, they're ready to go. A little Turner and Pooch, you know what I'm saying? A little Turner and Pooch action.
It's funny because Pooch is the de facto leader of the men just because none of the men are trying to
lead.
Because like you got Daniel working with Nicole off to the side. You have Michael kind of working with Brittany and Taylor, but nobody's really talking about it. And you got Terrence doing Terrence things.
But they're trying not to lead, but why are they following?
So no, that's the thing. They're not looking to lead, but they are down to follow. And
why follow somebody into like hell?
Because he holds court. He's just the one that spoke first. So everyone followed him. Like really, when they have conversations, he talks and everybody listens.
I wouldn't listen.
I wouldn't either. Pucciarelli's not leading me. That puppy's not leading me nowhere.
No,
but you got to let him think that he's in control so that when you cut him, it's easy.
The older I get, the less patience I have.
Correct. And I would not have 80 patience for young Pooch. But next, we get a...
CJ, you're right. Like, you're 100% right. I just don't know if I have the patience.
I would not be following Pooch myself. That's just me. This, like, young kid. Like, I would be more like Michael. Like, okay. And, like, leave it at that. Yeah, that's kind of all. Because like you said, Daniel's with Nicole, but Daniel wants to follow the Poochster, too.
Yeah.
You would like to be following Pooch. But Nicole's like, hey, sit. Heel, Daniel. And then
we were sort of talking about this Nicole dynamic, but then she came in and quickly told all of the information to Daniel, which, you know, I thought that was interesting that she feels so completely 100% connected with Daniel. But is that necessary? Like, I don't think she had to tell him everything.
So I think, especially early, you want to share as much information as you can with the person that you consider your number one. Because if you consider them your number one, you want them to trust you. And so you don't want them, especially early in the game, you don't want them to hear about something from somewhere else and then to know that you knew about it and you didn't say nothing. That's kind of tough. Early
I'll say the longer you go in the game with somebody thinking that we actually do have a final two is better for you. And if you can make a final two with 4 people and have them all believe it, you are in control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And information works both ways because she knows Daniel's loosely working with the dudes. So even if he's not in the guys' alliance, he still gets the information to share with her.
What do people think of Daniel in the house?
So most people think Daniel is fine. He's not on most people's radar to go home early. He's working with Nicole closely. Everyone knows that. But he's been shitting on Taylor lately, so it is what it is. Yep. Like he's a part of the
house. And what do people think of Nicole? Because I'm trying to get the read.
People like Nicole. People like Nicole a lot. I mean, Nicole got brought into that alliance on the episode last night. She was already working with the girls. She's very tight with the Mira, and so is Daniel. Contextually, I guess, because the context is that they're a 3. That's the idea. They're also very close with Jasmine and Nicole's also very close with Indy. So she has those tight relationships with the girls, as well as can bro down with the guys, and has, if you will, Daniel as a pawn in there to know what's going on.
So you
as
see,
a spy.
This is what I'm having problem with this year's edits. I have zero take on what are people's thoughts in the house, except for we hate Taylor.
So it's not a problem with the edit. We're 5 episodes in.
I want more, Kevin. I want more.
I know you do. We're 5 episodes in, and like the Nicole stuff will be able to be something to flesh out later, because it's important to tell the stories of who's going home, because you're going to only have them for so long left, because you're also needing to understand why they're going home and who's putting this together. If you look at these season 23, one thing that happened then and that didn't really happen in other seasons, at least as of late, is that Tiffany and the cookout had decided who was going home by Saturday night, which means the rest of the week was spent setting up who's going home next Saturday night. And so by the time the POV was done, Tiffany, Xavier, and them already knew who was going home based on who they had decided. So the rest of the week was, okay, that's solidified. Let's start working on who we want to be the next target come Thursday night, Friday morning. Whereas in this house, they're very much living it week by week and playing week to week. Mm-hmm. So, today, as of today, when we get to the feeds, we'll talk about how the vote has been pretty solidified. But that was even a question going into the veto decision today on what was going to happen with the veto today. So,
and a lot of that has to do with, again, the bullying going on in the house, because in one side you have it's an easy vote just to get rid of Taylor because she already went up, and
on the other side you have people that want to make a move. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's an interesting dynamic right now. It's interesting, like not in a great way. Last season was extremely interesting because, like I said, literally by the time they're like, okay, these are the 6 people playing in veto. If X person wins, we're going to do this. If Y person wins, we'll go this way. And so by the time the veto was done, they already had an idea of what they were going to do, because that was already set up from the moment that the veto draw happened.
Yeah.
Whereas this season, they're like, oh, who's going to play a veto? What are we going to do with the veto? Who are we going to vote for? And it's funny because like last season, it all really started with Kylan's HOH in week 2. Whereas this season, as we're about to get to, the HOH didn't really set anything up this week nor last week in Daniel. So next, speaking of the HOH competition,
who won?
Before we even get to who won, we have the competition itself. We have Daniel come out. He has this like country accent, and we're having a pie eating contest. So that's the name of the competition, by the way, the pie eating contest. The way the competition is going to work.
Super creative.
Yeah,
with the name.
The way the comp is going to work is that inside a pie that Big Brother has put together, there's a T and an F. Daniel will ask a question, and then you will only be able to use your face to dig in this pie and find either the T or the F, whether the question was true or false.
I don't know. They just needed the number 4 in there, and we would have had a For the Fans competition.
There was a number 4 hidden, and we just didn't see it. The worst part about this competition is that Julie could have definitely done this on a podium and just asked them the questions, and they hit the buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it did not need to be them digging their faces in pie. But that's exactly what we get.
And we got a good 30 minutes of an hour-long episode of it.
Yes.
Them just sticking their face in pie.
Yes.
To pretend I didn't fast forward would be a lie.
Well, the way the comp bore out was that in the first round, 2 people will be eliminated. The 2 slowest that came with the correct answers, or 2 people with the incorrect answers. So the first 2 people eliminated in round 1 were Kyle and Monty. They all had the same answer. I forgot what the question was, but they all had the same answer. Oh, it was above the dining room area. There was like a word, and they had to ask if the word was
fake color TV.
Yeah, it does say color TV. Everyone got it right. It did say color TV, but Monty and Kyle were the slowest.
Monty throwing things, folks. Monty throwing things.
Monty tried to throw it early. Tried to throw it early. I don't know that he tried to throw it here, but I assume so. It might not have been. He spent a lot of time in that pie.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I think it's really hard to throw that contest because first you got to find the letter and then you got to buzz in. So like, unless you're just putzing around, but you don't know when other people have buzzed in or not yet.
Yeah, you do, because Daniel's yelling, so and so buzzed in. I don't know if he's doing it live. I don't know if that was in post, but that was like said. But you look around, you can see who buzzed in. So I don't know if Monty threw it or not. He might have. Yeah, I know he tried to throw it early. I know he tried to throw it early to Nicole. He did try to do that. But I don't know if, because at this point, they're still all concerned about a Taylor win. So I don't know if you're throwing it at this point. Next up, we have another round, and we have a slightly larger pie. The question is about the color of the refrigerator, whether it was blood red or crypt blue. I believe it was blue. They said they asked if it was red. They all went to dig it in the pie with their faces, and this time Joseph and Taylor came up a little short. I did love how Joseph mentioned, I'm not usually eating these sweets. That is it.
Right. And then he had to show off the guns.
Yeah. His muscles said,
muscles don't look that big.
Yeah.
Compared to some guy, compare him to Monty's muscles. Come on.
Sure.
Okay, so you're saying that Joseph has lawyer muscles and Monty has personal trainer muscles?
I don't know what the lawyer.
Yeah, Joe's gonna be a lawyer. Surprisingly.
Yeah, he claims he is one already, but I'm not trying to get him to defend me. I know I'm going to jail for life if that's the case.
on this running a red light chart. Somehow you went to jail for life. Who knew? Next up, we have 3 people left. We have Amira, Michael, and Jasmine left. Amira knows that the answer is true. Or false. She knows that it's false. Whatever the question was. She knows it's false. She's looking in the pie with her face. It's an even bigger pie. She's looking in the pie with her face, digging all in there, grabs the true, pulls it out, unfortunately. Michael comes in next, buzzes in next with the false, and then Jasmine buzzes in last with the false. Well, since Amira was wrong, only one person was eliminated this round, and Amira is out. Poor Amira. She wasn't too upset, though. Jasmine and Michael are in her alliances, so she's cool with them competing. Immediately, Jasmine starts to plead with Michael about letting her be HOH. Let's make a deal so that way I can be safe.
I have an observation about why Jasmine is a terrible person.
Whoa.
Hot take, hit it.
You've been gone for now 9 days and you're begging for someone to throw a comp because it's really important that you need that letter from home.
Yeah.
Why, if you feel that awful and you really need that letter, why would you ask them that? Because obviously they're going to feel the same way that you do. What makes you more important than them?
What makes you more? I mean, she just maybe missed her husband a little bit more than Michael missed his fiance.
Well, if she misses him so much, she can go home.
Whoa! Dang. Hot take.
You really hate this girl.
So, I really think that the half of the girls at least, were the mean girls. Like, you had Paloma, who was Regina, but Jasmine was Gretchen. She was right there with her.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was Alyssa?
She was Karen.
The one with the boobs?
Yeah. Alyssa's dumb. She's just there. I think if she wasn't associated with the mean girls, she might actually be nice.
So then who's Katie?
Who's Katie? Probably Brittany.
Okay.
I don't think it's Taylor. Mostly because she's not getting sucked in.
Uh-huh.
Versus Brittany got sucked in.
Okay.
And then Nicole's like Janice.
Okay. What is Amira?
What is Amira? I don't know.
I think Amira might be more like Katie.
Yeah, Amira might actually be the Katie because she's going to be the one that usurps and takes the power.
Yeah. So I think that's there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you did not expect CJ to flesh out Big B24 as Mean Girls, but there it is.
Let me just say what I liked about that scene, that it had absolutely nothing to do with the strategy and what was going on between Michael and Jasmine. But I love seeing behind the scenes stuff. And while the two of them were talking, you saw Monty and Nicole taking off the tablecloth all covered in all that pie.
Yeah.
New one, showing us where their garbage is. I love seeing like behind the scenes production stuff that we never see. And I personally found that really cool to see.
So
one of my favorite.
Was that held in the backyard or was it in the upstairs comp room?
It was in the backyard, and that's one of the cool things about it is that everyone on the Big Brother set is basically a PA because they have to like set the things up. Like they have people come in and set it up, but once they're like filming, you don't see a producer.
Yeah,
you don't see them at all, so you have to like do it yourself. They tell you what to do, right? There's a person that tells you you're gonna do this. You guys are gonna move the tablecloth. Blah, blah, blah. But you're basically a production assistant yourself and setting all the things up yourself. By the end of the season, you could probably go work on a set somewhere.
At first, I thought that there were some, producers in there. So I literally, I rewound them. Like, who's that man? Monty.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't put somebody in.
Which is why they normally, whenever they have producers come in, they have them on lockdown. So they're like locked in a room because they don't see any of these producers outside of when I guess they talk to them in the DR. I assume that there's a person that you see in the DR, I assume.
No, they say that it's a one-way mirror.
Oh.
So you don't even see the producer you're talking to.
I assume the only time you see it is like when Jasmine went to go see the doctor.
Because notice when she came back in the house, she was wearing a mask. So I think the doctor actually came in, actually worked on her, actually wrapped up her ankle.
Or maybe she went to the clinic or something. Like, she could have left.
I don't think she left because when they brought her in the house, it was still daylight.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't leave. It was still daylight through the door.
They helped her out in the back, but she didn't leave.
So according to the Twitter streets, Jasmine has a grade 3 sprain of her ankle. Mm-hmm. The recovery timeline for
12 weeks
is 3 to 6 months, which means she's about to be not doing
Christmas
anything
status.
Physical all season. Yeah,
Christmas status. Just hanging out.
Do we ever think she was going to be a physical threat?
No.
Wait, what? She's farmer girl strong.
Maybe.
True.
I don't know. See, you made her, so this is probably a benefit.
Look, man, all I can say is she devoured that pie.
Well, as she ate the pie, Michael throws it to her.
Sorry, I don't mean to say that. I don't want to be accused of fat shaming Jasmine.
Oh, you just did
it. Well, Jasmine wins the final HOH competition between her and Michael, and she is the new HOH. Woo! Nobody?
No.
Crickets.
Well, the house was happy, right? Everyone in the house, including Taylor, because Taylor thought she was going to go after some of the dudes. Everybody's stoked. Because Taylor has no idea that Jasmine hates her for no reason.
Well, Taylor has also expressed to the girls that she wants to work with the girls to get dudes out. Mm-hmm. And Jasmine was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So, of course, Taylor's going to feel safe right now.
Mm-hmm. Michael also feels safe. He's glad that Jasmine has the power. He's glad that it didn't have to be him. He already won a veto. He already did well, and he went so fast in the first part of this comp. He's just happy that someone else has the power. Michael also lets us know that he wants to work with Taylor, which I love to hear.
What was surprising to me is how everybody did. There was a true deep congratulations to Jasmine. It was real. They were so excited for her. And what I couldn't understand is whether that's been because of her social game, that's fair, or it's because she hurt herself and she ended up winning. Like
Combination of both.
I wasn't sure what was actually going. Like maybe they really like her, and
They do like her.
That's a testament to her game. Then, like, you
Nah,
gotta give it to her.
they all hate Taylor, right? They all hate Taylor, and she's one of the chief haters of Taylor. So since she's one of the chief haters of Taylor and Paloma's best friend, our second best friend after Alyssa, it's only obvious that everyone's going to love Jasmine, who is so close to Paloma and hates Taylor the second most after Paloma. So I don't know if that means it's good gameplay, but they've really bonded over their hatred of Taylor. All of them.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, that's how you make friends. You find something in common that you guys both like or dislike, and you just bond. And 15 people bonded over the fact that they didn't like Taylor.
Yeah.
And Taylor still doesn't really know, does she?
Nope. Because they don't talk shit to her face. They literally just whisper behind her back and then run out of rooms when she's walking towards them.
And it doesn't help that Daniel said she needs to apologize for the things that she did to other people, because now she honestly thinks she did something wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of looking outside to be like, maybe it's not me, she's constantly looking within because she doesn't have anyone else sitting there telling her you did nothing wrong.
Yep. Well, next scene we get is Nicole. She talks to Daniel. She lets Daniel know about the Alliance of Six that she got brought into, because now they're sharing information, making sure they're all aware of what's going on, which shows how close Nicole and Daniel really are. Pooch offers himself to Jasmine to go on the block because he wants to make sure Taylor is gone. So the puppy has a brand new plan. He says, listen, I'm going to go on the block. You're going to put someone else on the block next to me. Whoever wins, we're going to take down me or even the other person. We can even take down, let's put up Brittany. We'll take down Brittany. And then I'll sit up there next to Taylor. That way she can't play in veto. Bada boom, bada bang. Taylor goes home. House target is gone.
So Pooch says he's a super fan, right?
Allegedly.
Doesn't he know Pons go home?
Everybody knows Pons go home.
So why would you ever volunteer this? Like, I know he said that he's going to use it to add to his resume. Everyone's going to have to sit on the block eventually, yada, yada, yada. But, like, you can't build your resume week 2.
Right.
All you're doing is putting yourself at unnecessary risk. And if you never floated it out there, I don't think you ever end up on the block. Because this week would have been about getting Taylor out. So she probably would have just went up with Michael again.
Yeah.
Not Michael, Terrence.
Or Terrence again. Nah, Jasmine wouldn't have put Terrence up. She likes Terrence.
Even though
she refused to work with him.
Where was Terrence this episode? I forgot he existed. This was nuts. I don't know what the man was thinking. A pooch is a mooch for the block. That's all I know.
Yep. Pooch is a mooch for the block. Pooch got left outside in the doghouse. Because as he gives up this plan, right, Alyssa says, hey, Amira, hey, Michael, how about we take that puppy and we just leave him outside? Let's leave him outside and let's send his ass out to the farm, right?
Can we talk about Amira? What is she doing in this game? Because there are moments...
Everything.
She's actually doing a lot.
There are moments I'm watching Amira and I think, oh, is this what I've been waiting for? Like, is she amazing? Or am I missing it?
You're not missing it. She's good. There's a lot of missteps. She's missing it, you know what I'm saying? As Mike said, you would have thought the block was a piece of bacon the way Pooch wanted it. And that was true. He was some begging bits. He wanted to be on that block. You know what I'm saying? But to answer your question about Amira, Amira has really good moments, and then there's moments that are questionable, right?
Yes.
And that's where the big problem is because I feel like she's putting herself in good positions, but then blows it up because she overshares.
Yes.
And in this kind of house, it's not going to be that big of a deal because everyone's pretty messy here.
So here's the I was gonna say Amira and Brittany are playing the same game. The difference is that people genuinely like Amira and they don't necessarily like Brittany.
I disagree. I disagree wholeheartly. They're not playing the same game.
Well, I
Because
mean, as
Brittany-
far as you get information and you go share it somewhere else. Amira's
No,
actually
no.
in the room making decisions.
Well, that's why they're not playing the same game, because Brittany is trying to gain friends with information. Amira is talking to her friends with the information she's gathered. It's two different things.
Because even in that scene, like they were talking about putting up Pooch, whatever the hell his name is, and Amira's like, I just want him gone. And then like, okay, let's get like that was her basically saying, yeah, let's get rid of him. I don't care. I don't need him here.
And that becomes the decision, right? Because he's a strong player. They don't know where he's at. Taylor is looking for friends. They're like, we don't have a problem with Taylor. Paloma had a problem with Taylor. We don't have a problem. Let's let her. Taylor's made it very clear she wants to work with the women. And Pooch is a mooch funny. And wants to get out of here with his gooch. You know what I'm saying?
But Taylor can sit that, like, Taylor's actually in a decent spot right now, despite the fact that she has no allies, because everyone else has other priorities now. And she's a top target, but she's not the target. And it just goes, oh, we'll get rid of Taylor next week. Oh, we'll get rid of Taylor next week.
Yeah,
and then
Taylor's become the next week person. Now Taylor, I don't know if she at this moment, Taylor can't win the game. Right?
No.
Right now, Taylor is nowhere near winning the game.
No.
Nowhere near it. Because no one would want to vote for her in this moment. She does need to use this time to build herself and to be able to make moves. But half the battle is being announced.
I don't think it's over, gentlemen. Like
it's not over
for Taylor. Like,
it's not over.
This is a story. Like, I was on the block week 1. I was on the block. We're about to say week 2. I saved myself. You all hated me. I got rid of the people who hated me. I built relationships with others, and look where I am now. That is a freaking huge story if she could pull it off.
Now, Pooch has told everyone in the house that he wants to go up. Right? He has this grand plan that I'm going to go up. I'm going to be the martyr. Someone's going to sit next to me, and then we going to get Taylor out of here. Unfortunately, when he comes to Jasmine and tells her, Jasmine's like, this is not something I would have done, but okay, Pooch, I'm good with it. Especially because you've told everyone this is what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And I'd look like a fool to not give you your wish and let you go on the block. When she lets him go on the block, that's when she finds out from Amira that, maybe we might send Pooch home. Who knows?
Yeah. And Jasmine, I know on the show, she was like, whether it's Taylor or it's Pooch, I'm good with it. But in the house, she still wants Taylor gone. Mm-hmm. But she doesn't have the votes, and she's not making a stink about it.
Yep. Well, because Pooch is very obviously targeting the women.
Yeah.
Taylor is at least saying she wants to target the men. You can't not, and Jasmine hates her, but she don't know that Jasmine hates her, and Jasmine knows that part. So that's not something for her to be worried about.
Has Taylor even played billiards yet again with them? Like, it was one game, folks.
She hasn't. She's done her best to stay away from the boys because that's what she was basically told she had to do. She can't really hang out with them.
Staying away from the boys. The girls have been staying away from her poor girls with the fish. They don't even have
the fishes. Yeah, she's with the fishies. The thing though is that Jasmine talks to Pooch. Pooch is cool going up. Has this whole elaborate plan with he sit next to Brittany, and then if he wins the veto, he'll take himself down. Taylor sit next to Brittany, and then they get out a girl. Right? Jasmine says she's cool with it. Next, she talks to Jasmine. She talks to Taylor, and in her conversation with Taylor, Taylor's like, "I don't want to be a pawn." Jasmine literally laughs in her face. Is like,
too bad.
You're going to be a pawn. Now, in real time, I watched this conversation happen live. In real time, this conversation lasted about 7 minutes because all of her conversations with everyone else lasted half an hour to 25 to 30 minutes, if not longer. She told Joe, who talked to her right before, I believe, to go grab Alyssa and have Alyssa come bring her some clothes because she did not want to talk to Taylor for very long.
Yeah.
So Taylor comes up to try to get the amount of time that everyone else has, and she tried to tell her, "Hey, I'm good with you. I'm working with you." Then she says, "I don't want to be a pawn," and that's when Jasmine's like, "Cutting you off right there. Not to cut you off, but I'm cutting you off right there. You're going to be a pawn. You're going up." That's kind of it. Oh, Alyssa, welcome. Thanks for coming on in. You're kind of done with this conversation here. And that was it. Jasmine gave Taylor no actual time to even like converse with her and try to work something out with her.
And it's funny because Taylor keeps going up to try to talk to Jasmine because with Jasmine's bum ankle, she can't do a whole lot other than lay in bed. Like,
which is not true, but that's how she keeps acting.
She spent all of yesterday upstairs in the HOH room. She never came down.
Right.
Every time Taylor comes up, she blows her off.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor talks to her for a minute or two. Jasmine just gives her the silent treatment, says, "I don't want to talk right now," or "I'm going to the bathroom," or "I'm going to take a nap," whatever, and just blows her off.
Taylor
doesn't
realize it. Taylor's trying. She's trying to play the game, but she doesn't realize it. But now that Jasmine has two people willing to go on the block, Pooch and Taylor, she's like, "Cool, let me go give the speech." And in her speech, she says she wants to give respect to the first HOH and take out his original target. So she's putting up Taylor. And then to Pooch, because he got the backstage boss, which is no fault of his own, he's going on the block. And that's why she had the two of them up, so that way he could prove himself. And because Taylor was originally targeted falsely by Paloma, she's going to finish Paloma's job.
You missed the best part of the night when the keys fell on the floor.
So we get to the time for them to do the nomination ceremony, and we got a return of somebody in the house. We got a return in the house. If you blinked, y'all might have missed it. Christmas's scooter is back in the house, y'all. Christmas's scooter is back in the house. Showed back up. Jasmine got to wheel around in it. And Jasmine wheels herself to the table. And she gets the key block. Drops it right on the floor. Fumbles it. Drops it right on the floor.
That's why you got to get a basket. You can't just be, wheeling it around carrying it. You got to have a basket to go with that bell.
True.
Always
CJ. She did not have one. She did not have a basket. She was not ready.
Non-Big Brother talk, but my wife tore her calf at the beginning of the year, and I went out and I bought her a scooter so she can wheel around, and I made sure I got her a basket so she wouldn't be dropping things just like Jasmine.
Did you really get her a basket so she wouldn't drop things, so that way you didn't have to go grab it behind her?
I didn't want to carry stuff.
That's what I figured.
I only have so many pockets.
Genius.
So that way she had a little basket. Jasmine puts up Pooch and Taylor. Taylor's not really surprised. Pooch, everything's going according to plan, except for the fact that Taylor wasn't supposed to be on the block with them. Taylor was supposed to be a pawn.
Yep.
And that's how this puppy thought it was going to go. Unfortunately for Pooch, his collar's getting yanked, and things are not going to quite go the way he thought.
What? Is it time for spoilers?
It is time for spoilers. So thank you for joining us so far. If you do not want to hear any spoilers of what's going on, please join us on Wednesday night as Sheldon, Mike, and Kylie go through what happens in the POV episode. Also, make sure you subscribe. When we get to 250 subscribers, we are giving away a signed Golden Power of Veto. So make sure you get signed up and you get registered. You get subscribed to our YouTube page. In addition, make sure if you miss an episode, check us out on the podcast. We are found anywhere that For the Fans Reality is podcasting. Check that out. We're everywhere. Listen to us. Catch CJ at Keyboard Sarcasm. Sheldon doesn't tweet. Find me at KG Fury. Instagram, Twitter, all those good things. So if you're dipping out now, adios.
Goodbye.
If you're not, we're going to wait a couple seconds and we'll break down what's really going on in this house.
Could it be? Could it be?
All right. It's time.
Finally.
It's time, Sheldon.
Tell me what's happening.
The plan is for the dog to get taken out to pasture.
Woof.
That's right. Woof, woof, Pucciarelli is going home.
Putting him down.
It's
They're
always
putting
rough
down
putting
his
the dog
dog.
down.
There's always rough putting a dog down, and that's exactly what they're doing with the pooch. So the plan is Amira and the girls have all decided that this is a good chance to take out a guy. So with Pooch being on the block, they have Michael and Daniel as votes.
Yes.
All the girls are voting with them. They're sending Pooch home and they're keeping Taylor. They're going to keep Taylor. That's the current plan, which is wild for our girl. You know what I'm saying? But Taylor's going to be in the house. When Jasmine spoke to Monty and Kyle, Monty is like, bruh, we need to keep Pooch here. Pooch got to stay. Mm-hmm. We got to keep that. We got to take care of our little puppy. You know what I'm saying? How else do you take care of your puppy? By making sure he's fed, spayed, and neutered, and kept here safe with us. And we got to send Taylor, that she-devil, on her way. Because Monty, for whatever reason, still hates Taylor.
Well, you don't understand. The reason why Monty hates Taylor is because he thought Taylor lied to him. But then he found out that Taylor didn't lie to him and that Paloma lied to him. But it's okay that Paloma lied to him because Paloma's like his sister.
Yeah. This is pretty much the logic. And then now he's found out because Taylor has divulged to Nicole and Amira that she wants to backdoor Monty because Monty found out that was a lie and has done nothing to try to fix things with Taylor. So Taylor's like, if he's not with me, he's obviously against me. He's got to go. Now, Sheldon, earlier today, you gave Amira some props for playing a good game. Amira gets this information from Taylor and then goes and tells Monty that Taylor wants to backdoor him in the future.
Great.
Well,
terrible game move.
Terrible game move. And then add into the fact, since we're in spoiler corner, they did the veto competition Saturday afternoon.
So we have 6 players for the veto comp. We have Jasmine, Taylor, and Poochie. Then we have a great draw of Amira, Michael, and Terrence. It's essentially 5v1 to get Pooch out.
Yep. And Pooch doesn't even know it.
No clue, because Pooch thinks everyone's still working with him. That's where he's at with this thing in the plan.
Yes.
Michael tells Taylor that if he has a chance to throw her the veto, he's going to do it. And from all reports, there was an opportunity, and Michael did throw it to Taylor because they were the final 2 in whatever they were doing. And Taylor fumbles the bag, but Michael takes home the veto.
And he is now the resident veto king with 2 wins.
He's won all the veto competitions. He's won all the veto competitions that they have. So Michael wins the veto, and the plan is still in place, Sheldon. It hasn't changed. Pooch
it's actually
going home.
It's actually better for Taylor because they've already come around on the fact that they're trying to get rid of Pooch, which allows Michael to not play the veto alliance hidden because he doesn't have to use it to save her.
And Jasmine's okay with this because even though Jasmine still hates Taylor, she's still good with this plan.
So Michael won, and at one point yesterday, did on Taylor to put Monty up because they should go after a bigger threat than me.
Now this is where it gets
trying
crazy
to get him backdoored
because since Pooch is still on the block with Taylor, he got a little nervous. He got a little nervous yesterday, and Amira whispered to him, "You know, the bigger target than you, Monty." So Pooch then goes and pitches to Jasmine, getting Monty on the block next to him. So that way Monty goes home. Now, this is the crazy part to me, Sheldon. Monty wants Taylor gone for throwing his name out there. Jasmine tells Monty that Pooch wants me to put you up. And he's like, that's all right. Pooch got to do what he got to do to save his life. Tell me why. That's okay. But it's not okay to have Taylor have a long-term plan to get you out this house.
I don't know. There's no answer, folks. I don't know who these people are. I don't know why they're playing the game. They're in La La Land, and I'm waiting for strategy to start.
Can I float an idea out there?
Yeah.
I don't think Monty likes black women.
Oh,
I think it's that simple. I think it's that simple.
But what do you mean? Like why?
I think he doesn't fuck with them. And I don't mean that sexually. I mean like he just wants nothing to do with them.
You know, I don't think it's that deep. I think that it's partially that, but not the way you think. I think what it is that I know this part's true. He assumes that the assumption would be that they would be together, right? Romantically or what have you.
They look like a beautiful couple.
He is actively trying to counteract that sentiment by trying to get her sent home.
But then why is he broing down with Terrence?
He doesn't want himself to be paired with Taylor as a romantic duo.
Well, I mean,
so
he doesn't have to.
There's nothing there to duo. There's nothing being done.
Right. After last night, he does not have to worry about that.
Well, what happened last night, CJ?
Oh, last night was great. Okay, so that's enough. That's enough game. So the game is Taylor is going to be safe. Pooch is going home.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, Sheldon, they got a little alcohol.
Ooh.
So 2 nights ago, hold on, wait. 2 nights ago, Jasmine decided to float a little bird into Daniel's ear and said, Taylor is following you around the house.
Before
that,
Taylor is not following Daniel around the house, but Daniel
not at
like
all.
Taylor's following him around the house. Daniel feels like she's everywhere. Oh my God.
Maybe Taylor's a fucking friend, and if she's walking around the house, it's because she maybe wants to talk to somebody like a human.
Well, it's even worse than that. He's like, of course, like she drove Paloma crazy. Now she's driving me crazy. Oh. Of course,
he can leave. I have no problem. Go.
He can leave.
But
he can leave. Well, after that happens, Jasmine tells him, hey, you know, I think Taylor has a little crush on you, and that's why she's following you around the house. And he's like, makes sense. Well, I'm not interested at all. That is why.
Want nothing to do with her.
Uh-huh. Well, last night they got a little bit of alcohol. And Taylor got to go up there with the girls. The girls got a little wine. A little wine with them. You know what I'm saying? And Alyssa says she had a little bit of a crush on Kyle. Not surprising. A lot of people clocked that. Alyssa having a crush on Kyle. Then Taylor said she wants to make out with Daniel.
Yeah. She says she's not attracted to him. Like, she doesn't have a crush, but she wants to make out with him. And she wants to see him swing his thing because Daniel told her he had to bring his own condoms because the condoms they provide in the house don't fit.
Sheldon, did we break it?
Sheldon.
Sheldon, did we break it?
Sheldon broke it.
I don't even know anymore. What is going on in this house this year?
Well, they got a little bit of booze, and Taylor floated it by Daniel, the let's make out plan. Daniel shut it down. Kyle shut down Alyssa altogether. Like, she's like, hey, people saying like we're like maybe a little bit of a showman. Like, what do you? He's like, no. We're friends.
I feel really bad because I think I remember reading that he's gay. No,
Kyle or
Daniel.
Nah, he's not gay.
I remember reading that somewhere.
Nah, he's not gay. But she tries to make out with Daniel. She even tries to make out, get a little puppy kisses from Pooch. She wanted puppy kisses all over her face. Pooch is like, as if. Like, I'm not interested in that at all.
Have they not looked at Taylor? She's gorgeous.
But Taylor is persona non grata.
People.
They don't want, but this is all good because Taylor breaking that down, telling the girls that, all the girls were like giggling. Nicole also told Indy that if she was a lesbian, she would make out with her. But they're all just hanging out. The girls were having fun together. Taylor is breaking in with the girls with his little crush talk.
Little by little, She's chipping away.
Chipping away. Now, one thing I did like is that after Taylor said something, like tried to get him to kiss her after Daniel left, she was like, "Oh, gross." I don't know if it was game. I don't know what she was doing, but she wasn't like that into it, which I thought was great. But she put it out there. She put it out there.
Also, hold on. What does this say? Like Daniel also put Taylor up, and now she wants to make out with him.
Well, haven't you learned anything from growing up that you're mean to the people you have a crush on? So obviously Daniel has a crush on Taylor.
But she doesn't need him. Like, they need to go to specialty stores for sex. Like they can't just go to the local store. It's too much work, Taylor. It's too much work.
Well,
I do kind of agree with Sheldon here. If Taylor did want to shoot her shot, she should have did it last week when Daniel had a private bedroom.
I think it was just the liquor flowing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it was just the liquor flowing. I think that she was having a good time with the booze, and I think that was it. I think that she was just having a good time with the alcohol, and she was like, I just want to make out with somebody. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make out. I want to see what's up, and that was it. I think that's how I read it.
This place is a mess, folks. Sorry. I completely don't understand what's going on. Too much. But
also last night they gave Joseph a camera to do a tour of the house. So he was walking around doing tours, talking to house guests, and he had all of them start like filming little intro videos, introducing themselves, dropping their socials, whatever. So CBS didn't blur their social handles, and people went on their socials and started bombarding them with hate tweets. Because great. Nobody likes the cast.
Except for Taylor. Taylor and Michael. Taylor and Michael are the only saving graces of this cast.
Not Nicole? I think people like Nicole.
Nicole likes to join in and Taylor hate too.
People don't dislike Nicole, but people aren't like standing her the way they're standing Taylor.
Is Joe doing anything in that house?
No.
Nah. So I would like to retract my statement from last week that Joe's playing a good game. No, Joe is just there to work out.
Oh, cool.
Because Joe actually had a conversation with the dude saying he doesn't. No, Joe had a conversation with the dude saying he doesn't want to make an alliance until he sees who's still here. Well, we're now week 2 in. Fool still hasn't made an alliance.
No.
Well, look, I don't mind that strategy. I don't mind. Like, if I go into the house, I'd be working out. That's a joke. But I'd pretend to be working out for the first half of the game, and then I'd start playing. Like, that's great. But I'd also be starting to drop seeds everywhere, and not in the way Daniel would want.
Well, wow. Daniel, the situation yesterday has had Daniel today saying he wants to keep Taylor in the house. So it worked, baby. It worked. That's what you got to do to get Daniel off your back. That's what you got to do. I'm sure Daniel thinks he can get the jury and see what's up, baby. He's like, listen, I got to get the jury. Taylor got to get the jury, and we can see what's good. At that point, Taylor will be over it. But
they all need to get the jury because that's when they get the checks, the real checks. The first few weeks, not big enough checks. We need the full jury's checks.
So as of right now, Pooch is getting up out of here. Nicole, Amira, Michael, Daniel, and Taylor all want Taylor to win HOH. So our girl's on the rise, y'all. Our girl is on the rise.
You see, I'm not actually certain it's good for Taylor to win an HOH. Because the second she actually gets power and has to take a shot, even though deservedly so, it creates an even bigger target than she already has. To me, like, she needs a few more weeks of just getting by, making relationships. It's just really dangerous.
Well, Sheldon, Taylor doesn't want to win HOH. She wants to win like the week after. So they all want to throw it to her.
Yeah, basically right now, the view on Taylor in the house is it's good for Taylor to win HOH next week because she will take the shot that everybody is too afraid to take. Taylor knows that they want to use her as a tool, so she doesn't want to win HOH.
CJ, thank you for bringing up The View. Whoopi is great as usual.
Pretty sure that wasn't
So that is pretty much the episode. That is the recap. I'm having a good time. I know, Sheldon, you said that you weren't having a good time. The feeds are better than the show right now. So the feeds is where the action's at. They're like you said, they're sanitizing a lot. They're not showing a lot. But if you're checking in on the feeds, you know what's going on. It's having a great time. Daniel's set to go home. Pooch is set to go home. So my dog puns are going to be gone. So I'm going to be able to get all of them out as we take this puppy out to pasture. I'm gonna be able to run out of my dog puns for the Pooch. The Pooch is loose. We'll see how that goes. CJ.
Oh, one other game thing before we wrap up. What? Alyssa and Amira also want to get Indy out sooner than later because they're afraid she's gonna line up with the dudes and they don't think they can win her vote in jury.
True.
So that's something to look for in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Indy deceptively is Indy deceptively actually a genius?
No.
Is that possible?
No. I think Indy is the realest person in the house, though.
She's just real. She just tells it like it is always.
Yeah.
Monty tried to get her to come to bed last night, and she's like, "I got a boyfriend at home in Brazil. Adios."
I love it.
And then,
so the internet is starting to fall in love with Indy, and this is why women's alliances never work, because they start turning on each other before they can get rid of everyone else. The fact that they already want to get Indy out before jury tells you everything to know about the girls and how they're going to fail.
But the girls do know that they've got to get more of these dudes out.
Yep.
Next year, do they need a boys-girls alliance? If that's like only girls, but you add a boy and then they won't turn on me. Like what the hell?
Well, they have a boys-girls alliance now with Michael in it. So
too much. This is too much for me to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, CJ, where can they find you, my friend?
You find me on all of the socials at Keyboard Sarcasm. I tweet about the feed, so you can check me out, find out what they're doing in the house.
You can find Sheldon nowhere on the internet because Sheldon's only here exclusively on For the Fame.
You can find me in my bed for the last 5 days, getting through COVID.
Would you like to know something funny? I watched an interview where I don't know who it was. It was sold on the internet. She had like multiple thousands of followers, this woman. And she said she had an exclusive interview with Taylor's friend. Do you know who it was?
Raven.
One Miss Raven. I believe we had the first exclusive interview with Taylor's friend.
Not exclusive.
Not exclusive. Not exclusive. Taylor was here first, and Taylor will be back again someday. So
Raven will be back.
Well, Raven will be back. Yes, Raven was here first.
Here's what I can assure you: we are getting Taylor, the queen of BB24, on here. We're gonna get her. I don't know when. I'll have to call her agent, but we're gonna get her.
We will have her on this show. We will have her on the show. We had Raven's exclusive interview. Taylor's friend Raven. We already talked to her, so it wasn't exclusive. Whoever you were, we had already talked to her.
Next week we got Barack Obama. He's coming. We've got
good night.
Good night.
Have a good night. Enjoy yourself. Find me at KG Fury. You can find Sheldon in his bed. Make sure you show up on Wednesday. Talk to Sheldon, Mike, and Kylie. Watch them break down the episode. Once again, subscribe. All those good things. From outside the Big Brother house. Be kind to one another.
Ugh.
Good night.